Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Groove podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington. And okay, dude, we are at episode number 4, the foundation, or its foundation. And whew,
Barbarians at the gate.
the barbarians at the gate, man. Listen, a lot of people are talking a lot of smack on this show, man.
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure why.
I think there's two camps here because, like, for us, we haven't read the books and we're not too deep into what's going on with this thing, and so we're just watching the show clean. And you know what? I understand because I'm the same way for like comic books.
Mhm.
If I know a storyline, I'm like, yo, this character's not acting like they're supposed to. It annoys me to some end, but if the overall package is good and the movie's good or the TV show's good, I'll let it slide.
Mhm.
But there's definitely the issue with people who are expecting a word for word translation from a book onto the big screen, which I don't think is physically possible
I was
because
about to
those books
say,
are thick as
is that
hell.
have you ever like seen something translated from a book to a movie and it's like exact?
No, you can't. Like even the Game of Thrones, like the first couple seasons, like for the most part, it was fairly close to the books, but they changed a lot of stuff. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of background things that kind of didn't matter, or like they changed the characters, they melded two characters together just to get the pacing better. But like you have to do that with movies and TV shows, especially
Yeah.
because you have a limited amount of time, and writers are like, oh, let me write about this mushroom on the ground for 2 pages. You can't do that in a scripted story that's like a half an
No,
hour
come
long,
on. You
hour
can't do
long.
that, man. Come
You can't
on.
do that. So I don't expect the perfect representation of the book. But again, because this isn't my favorite book and I haven't read it all the time, like I don't have that invested interest the same. But
Mhm.
like I understand the argument though, because I have had it for different situations too. So I do get that. I don't want to dismiss it like it's a dumb argument, but like I understand where they're coming from. I just don't think it's possible, especially as a book that's as grand as this. Like this is the same thing for Dune.
This is 9 books. 9 books,
Nine
dude.
nine thick books.
Yeah. I
They're
mean
not they're not lean.
to think that, you're going to get a replication in a movie or series
Mhm.
version word by word. I don't know about that. I mean, I think like, when you have these directors and these creators, they want to have a little wiggle room so they can, sort of
Yeah.
add their own creativity to it. What do you think about, okay, so we saw episode 4, Barbarians
Mhm.
at the Gate. What do you just really quickly, don't give a rating, but what did you think about like episode 4?
This show is another one of those shows that's setting up something bigger
Yeah.
coming on down the road.
Hmm.
So like I thought it was okay. It wasn't like amazing, like because there wasn't a lot of action. There was no action actually.
Hmm.
There's a lot of walking and talking. So like it was okay, but like I'm hoping that the payoff is bigger. But
Hmm.
again, because I don't know it's coming, I can have that luxury of feeling, oh, okay, I like where this is going. I like what's building up to. The thing that I found more compelling was not so much what's happening on the with Foundation. It was more was what's happening with the Emperor
Yeah.
or Empire.
Hmm.
What's going on over there?
Yeah.
That side of it, the story is way more interesting to me than what the Foundation is doing.
Really?
And I don't know if you can make building up a encyclopedia or whatever exciting. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like, because you're watching the death of the empire, empire's falling apart. You're
Yeah.
seeing stuff crumble around them. They have crises happening, and then these guys are arguing. Should we do a calendar thing with the water, or should we use a sundial? Like, you know what I'm saying? The
Hmm.
action is kind of weighted towards the other side of the universe, at
Yeah.
least for the time being.
Hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen down the road, so maybe that could switch completely. But for me, I found what was going on with the Emperor way more interesting. Like I like the dynamic between the three of them, and I like the intricacies of the power structure and now they have beef between each other and that kind of
They
stuff.
do.
I
I was
love
about to
that.
say they're beefing.
Yeah, I love that. That's great for me.
The different times of day are beefing. You want to give okay, we have to get into that. You want to give just a very brief overview of
Okay,
episode 4, Foundation, Barbarians at the Gate. What's up?
I'll say this beforehand. All right,
Uh huh.
we're two nerds who like sci-fi. We'll call it nerds
Hmm.
who like sci-fi, and we like talking about this kind of stuff.
Right.
And this is our experiences watching this for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's more what this is about versus here's a rundown. Oh, this person talked to this person in this room. This person walked over there. This is deep meaning, whatever. There's videos for that.
Hmm.
If you want to get our views and our thoughts on what we're just seeing for the first time, that's more of what this is about
Right.
versus
Yeah.
a breakdown of exactly what happened through the show.
Hmm.
You can find that anywhere. Like that's easy to find. But like
Right.
this is more so about us talking about the sci-fi elements, what we think about, the world building and all this other stuff.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a larger argument versus just a rundown. All right, as I say that, here's a brief rundown, all right?
Okay.
So so it picks up what's going on in with Foundation Land over there on their planet.
Hmm.
We're catching up with this is Salvor. Uh
Salvor, yes.
Salvor,
Harden.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so she's basically she's been captured by one of the planets that was punished for breaking up the Star Bridge, which they
Acronym.
believe they
Acronym.
believe
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
responsible for breaking up the Star Bridge. So the interesting thing about that is they decimated a good chunk of the world. I think Salvor kind of explained what it was like, but like they incinerated half the planet. The other half either got cancer or they melted alive,
Like
whatever.
70%, dude. They destroy
Yeah, it's
70%.
good.
Anacronym. It's just
Imagine if that happened to Earth. 70% of Earth is just done for, and then the rest of people scrounging for missing parts. So, all
dude,
right,
that's crazy. Hmm.
so the leader of this group that's is talking to Salver, she's trying to get to the center of the city
Farah.
because they have navigational equipment to
That's
kind
what
of get
she's
off the
saying,
course.
though.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's what she's saying. We
Okay.
don't know for sure if that's really what it's about or whatever,
Right.
but that's what
Hmm.
she's saying. And so we're jumping back and forth between Trentor and where people in Foundation. And Trentor is
Terminus.
dealing with the Terminus, sorry.
Hmm.
They're dealing with the ramifications of what they've done with their decisions, where pushing people up to the end of the galaxy.
Yeah.
You know, there's a new religion that's trying to say that they don't exist because they're not real humans because they're clones instead of actually giving birth to people. So they're saying one body has one soul. So they're dealing with the ramifications of everything that's happening, and you can kind of see the empire starting to crumble. You can
Yeah.
kind of see it. There's
Hmm.
cracks here and there
It's
where,
cracks, baby.
yeah,
Hmm.
you're dealing with you have your mathematicians lying to you about, yeah, we can see anything with the equation. Everything looks good on our end. And they're like, they're lying. So like, you can see like they're starting to get frustrated. And the
Yeah.
other thing that was interesting about this was the one of the empires tried to off himself. I won't say the other word because we're on YouTube, but
Yeah.
he's clearly now. I can't. Here's the thing,
What's
and I
up?
was seeing a recap about it.
Hmm.
So we don't know for certain that all of them haven't had this moment of weakness where they're like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Hmm.
We don't know. This is the first time we're seeing one of these guys at this age group. So we don't know how they're struggling or how they're coping with all the pressure of being in charge of trillions of people. So I can't say for certain this has never happened before, but he tried to off himself, and then it got really weird. I don't know. I would like your thoughts about what that happened.
Okay, so we're talking about. Okay, so you're talking about
It was Dawn.
Dawn, Emperor Dawn. So see, I wasn't confused about that, but I was just wondering, was he trying to off himself, or was he just trying to see what would happen if he jumped off of this building? You know?
that's also a possibility. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like he seems very different from the other emperors that we've seen so far.
Yeah. Yeah. The
He
other
seems
thing that
kind
they
of like
did,
unsure.
the other thing that they injected into this episode was that the emperors, you know, they are, they have needs,
Disagree.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. The
they
other
have
two, yeah.
needs, so they need to sort of, that primal sort of thing going on. I don't know how to say this on YouTube, but
Yeah, yeah.
they have needs. And the
I
other
get it
thing
on.
is like, right, and with Don, he's also sort of attracted to someone as well. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
a little
like
interesting.
that seems like a storyline that's gonna go on for a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Whoever's he's got going on with the botanist girl that was on the like
Mhm.
he created a dragonfly to go fly around and spy on her. That
Okay.
seems like I feel like you're at the level now because you run the empire. You could be like, hey, just come upstairs. Like I feel you could do that.
Okay, so that was very interesting because this is episode 4, right?
Mhm.
So none of the emperors had they didn't show any ability to create things, to, have that sort of mind that they can put things together. I mean, um, Dusk in
Mhm.
the old one, he was sort of a painter, but this guy has like a little technical background. He created a dragonfly drone to go out and spy on the gardener as
Yeah,
he sat there and ate his what was that? That was oh my goodness.
it's
It
like
was
a
some
leaf.
yeah, it
I
was
forgot what it's
I
called.
want to say baby's breath. It was wolf's breath.
Wolfsboro. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
It's a
because
leaf.
baby's breath smells really bad. But yeah, so it's like so yeah, he's like, "Oh, you know what? This I'm kind of interested in this gardener, you know what I'm
This
saying?"
this seems like a watered down version of Emperor because I'm like, because you watch Game of Thrones, like you saw these guys would be like, "Yo, just bring her on upstairs, man. We're gonna do our thing." Like
Yeah.
he seems like he's like awkward. I don't know. I'm really in charge. I could do whatever I want. Like he
Mhm.
seems very awkward about that. And he actually implied like we're gonna bump her off,
Right.
and he got worried about like, oh no, is he gonna do it right now? Like, oh no, like I kind of like her. Like it's kind of
Right. So
weird.
he
It was
was
weird.
he was like, wait a minute. I think I like this person. This person
Yeah.
helped me out, like gave me some wolf's breath, leaves and is helping me. I'm eating them while I'm spying on her with this dragonfly drone. He built that himself with the camera and everything else. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, this is like he's very interesting. I also think that remember, Demoiselle was
Mhm.
teaching him, or at least letting him know that no, things don't have to be this way, right? In episode
Yeah.
1 and 2. Um, so
Do you
maybe he grew
let
up
me
to be
let me ask you
something, or
this.
he may be something different. What's up?
Do you think that she's trying to make a change from the path of the current line of Cleon's where he's up to 14 now? Do you think
14,
that
yeah.
she's yeah, do you think that she's trying to maybe guide number 14 in a different path versus the other ones? Because she's been doing this a long time. We're talking hundreds of years now.
Okay. There are maybe 2 or 3 characters that I am super interested in finding out like their storyline throughout this entire season and other
Mhm.
seasons as well. And my first character is Demoiselle. There is a
Yes.
story, there is something about her. They are going to explain what it is what's her motive, right?
I hope they do. We gotta fingers crossed. We hope they
Right.
do. I don't know.
Because, sometimes she'll shade like the emperor, she'll say, oh, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, like, dude, come on, really?
Yeah,
It's
she did that
crazy.
when Prime tried to leave and replace Dusk,
Right.
and she's like, "I guess we're doing this now." All right, like
Right.
that was pure sass. Like
Like,
that
really?
was
You
robot
guys are
sass
like,
right
I
there.
mean, you guys have all this power and you want to do this? You know how it goes, right?
Yeah, she's
Uh,
basically saying that Prime does not leave the planet. What are you
right.
doing right now?
Exactly.
And then he because he made that big speech when they brought them there to go show what he said he gave the speech about what he's doing wrong, what Dusk was doing wrong
when he
all the
was
mistakes he made. Yeah,
right, when he was done,
and so
exactly, day.
yeah, so he made that speech,
Hmm.
and so he was she was like, okay, so we're not going to make any rash decisions.
Hmm.
We're going to think these things through. Okay, cool. And then here goes Prime making a rash decision to go leave Earth, or not Earth, but to leave the planet and go to do what his
To
brother is
quell
supposed to be
this
doing.
like uprising or possible uprising because someone died on a planet and now they have a successor, but now there's another candidate that has a lot of
Yeah,
support. So
yeah.
it is going to be. Listen, I'll tell you this here, and again,
Mm-hmm.
we do these reviews, and we also, I mean, we have to do our due diligence and look at other content as well, and what other
Mm-hmm.
people are saying about this, right? And you're right, there's a lot of
There's a lot of people.
negativity, yeah, around
There's a lot of
foundations,
people.
and I'm
There's a
just
lot
like,
of people
what?
salty about the show right
Yeah, I'm
now.
like, what is that all about? It's just
Well,
like this is a creative endeavor. This is episode
yeah.
4 of the first season.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, they gender swapped 3 characters and race swapped 2 of them. So
dude,
I
this is
get it.
like, I mean, this is like Tim Cook, man. He's gonna make sure things are like on the up and up, right?
Well, like I see that argument about race swapping stuff in the future.
Mhm.
We're gonna be moving towards a more, I want to say taupe, but there's a lot of races that are gonna be mixing together. So it's not gonna be black and white like it is right now.
Yeah, for
Especially
real.
thousands of years in the future. Like
No,
that's it's gonna be a mixture of stuff. So I don't
yeah.
that for future stuff, I don't really get mad about. Current
Mhm.
stuff, I don't know. There's a better argument to be had about that. But like future 10,000 years down the line, everybody's gonna be a mixture of stuff. There's people out there with Foundation getting back to the show who are kind of upset that Salvo is and Gal was a Gal or whatever is too, and the robot Dema, I forgot her name,
Demoiselle,
Demerzel,
Salvo,
whatever.
and
Yeah,
Gail.
these are 3 white dudes in the books.
Mhm.
So people are kind of annoyed about that, and I can't. This is not my favorite book of all time. I've never read it, so that's your argument to have.
Yeah.
I can't say one side or other if it's good or bad because I can't tell you what the source material is supposed to be.
Hmm.
But based on the show, I don't mind it,
Yeah.
but I'm not as invested as a lot of people are about this thing. And
Yeah.
again, if you change Superman, I'm gonna have a problem with that. But
Superwoman.
yeah, well, they have a Superwoman, but I'm just saying, like, if you
Mm-hmm.
if you tried to do that, this is Karen Kent now or whatever. Like
Mm.
people like myself, but I would
No,
have an
no,
issue with
dude, not Karen.
that.
No,
I'm just saying, like,
not
I get it.
not Karen Kent. It's just like Karen
I'm
Kent.
just
I
saying, like,
mean,
I get it. I
she
totally
would
get it,
like
though.
start like calling the police on people because they're bird watching in Central Park. Imagine
Got
that.
the little half haircut. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, no, I get it, though. I get it. I cannot say if I'm against it or whatever. I understand where they're coming from. But for us, because we're not invested into it, we're just watching a show of characters we've never seen before, and it's fine. I don't have an issue with these characters. I think they're doing a good job. It's
I
fine
have
to me.
absolutely no issue with these characters, and I think like 100% of the people who did not read the book would would absolutely have no,
They wouldn't care. They wouldn't
right,
know.
So it's just like the diehards, and I get it because there's some things that I'm just like
I get it.
completely diehard about. Like we talk
Mhm.
about this stuff when we talk about DJ gear. Sometimes it's just like
Yeah,
we
I
get
get
it.
it.
What I'm seeing thus far. And
Mhm.
I think, we're both like, sci-fi nerds, sci-fi geeks,
Mhm.
astute when it comes to stuff like this. I like what I'm seeing thus far. I mean, I love, in another sort of series, I may say that, wow, this is really slow.
Mhm.
Like the way they're building it up is really slow. But we know, I think the next episode, man, I think that's where it's going to get,
Yeah, I
some
think
craziness. Yeah.
for sure, things are gonna
Mm.
pop off.
Things are
For
gonna
people
pop off.
who haven't seen it, the Empire is sending a ship over there to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And once they find out these people are on a planet,
Why is the
there's
communications
gonna
buoy not working, right?
yeah, they're sending people out there, quote unquote reinforcements. Well, they
Hmm.
don't know the reinforcements yet, but they're sending people out there. Stuff's gonna pop off.
Yeah.
So for the last couple of shows, it's been slow, but something interesting is about to happen, depending on where the writers want to take it. So
Hmm.
I don't think that is always going to be this slow, but for a show that's talking about the destruction of the empire, like based on Rome, this is interesting to me.
Yeah.
But if you're a sci-fi fan and you're expecting more shootouts like The Expanse or Star Wars or whatever,
Mm.
this could be kind of boring to you. And I get that. I think it also I'm not a kid. So
Hmm.
like I can sit down and listen to people talk for 2 hours and it's
Right.
fine.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lose interest like that. But like some people, they want more explosions, they want more things, or they want to take more stuff out of the book. I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't say for certain. For us who are newbies to this book and this series, this is interesting.
Yeah. Super
Um,
interesting to me. And I don't think it's slow either. I'm just saying
mhm,
if it were something else, I mean, I was
mhm.
like super excited and amped about seeing this because I just did a little research on what it was, and I was like, "Oh, this is everything. This is all a
Yeah,
sci-fi. It's like it all
yeah,
came
yeah,
from here." And
yeah.
this is not like a one-off like, "Oh, well, here's season 1. We don't know about season 2."
Mhm.
They've signed up multiple seasons with this like series. So we
Yeah,
know
they're
that
gonna
it's
come
just going to get, and again, 4 episodes. We're in 4 episodes. There is nothing for me. There is
mhm,
absolutely nothing boring that I've seen on with 4 episodes about Foundation thus far. I like the
mhm,
pace at which they are building things up. And, even with episode 4, it was just more, again, like character building,
mhm.
plot building, all of that sort of stuff. I like it. I watched it twice today, man. I watched it for lunch,
So
and then I watched it again right before this pod, so it kind of
let me
works for
ask you
me.
this:
What's up?
is there anything in the series that you think needs tweaking or changing for like season 2? Is there anything that you would like to see evolve or change?
I'm gonna say no. For me, I like and have we're newbies to Foundation. I
Mhm,
haven't read the book. You haven't read the book, right?
mhm. No, I haven't read the book yet.
Yeah, so we are completely newbies to like Foundation. So again, not
Mhm,
taking anything away from people who are somewhat disappointed with it,
mhm.
because these are people who like did deep dives, read the book, read the entire series. Um,
Yeah,
Big ups to them for reading like 9. Like, dude, okay, but that is hardcore, so I completely understand it. But for
yeah, yeah.
me, thus far, there is absolutely nothing I would change at this point because I like how they're doing everything. If you remember, like with episode 4, we just watched it. At the end, they showed Gail in her little like capsule, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
like, okay, she's approaching something. What is this all about? They left 2 sort of nuggets on the table with episode 4.
Mhm,
One, we know that the Acreons are about to try to blast this like wall or this barrier to get into like the Foundation, city or whatever it is, right?
mhm,
We also know that Trantor sent like a ship to investigate and also go to Foundation and let
mhm.
these people know like they need to contact us more. So I kind of think those 2 things are gonna like come together.
No, it's gonna pop off for
It's gonna
sure.
pop off. That's where you're gonna start getting the bang bang stuff, and that's gonna be okay. And then you
Mhm,
have the Gale thing, like, okay, what is this that she's about to enter, right?
mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm all in on this, man. Again, mad respect to the people who did like read the entire series and are somewhat upset because of how things are, the character changing and everything else, gender changing and all of that. But for
Mhm.
me, for newbies, and for just being a sci-fi person, I love how this is rocking out, man. I'm serious. Let me ask you this, right? Okay,
Mhm.
so we had a little, stuff popping off on Trantor, with your boy, I said your boy Day just like completely he killed the mathematician just by yelling at him.
Yeah, that dude dropped dead. I was like, oh snap!
He
All
was
right.
like I'm like wow, this you know what? Okay. They
Mhm.
gave this guy like what? A few decades to work on this and he still hasn't come up with a solution.
Yeah.
So, if
Well,
you
his
worked in
brother was
corporate
the one that helped
America,
work on it.
right, exactly. If you worked in corporate America, you got to you're fired, dude, after like,
Yeah, you got
6
a
months.
couple of decades and you got no results. Like, come on, man. Because I think too, this is a vague math equation about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So these guys have to look at what's happening here in the empire and come up with a reason for why it's not going to happen,
Hmm.
which I think is a lot harder because like any country or anybody who's running stuff and they have like a high unemployment or whatever, it looks bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like all that kind of stuff looks bad, and you got to look at, okay, well, we have a new crop of whatever that helps us get out of this thing, or we invented a new car, and we got new employment, something to help lift you up, but you can't foresee that. That's down the road. You can't tell based on what's going on currently. And I
Right.
gotta say, for the empire right now, everything that's going on looks bad.
It
None of that
does.
stuff looks good,
It doesn't
especially
look
with
good.
that new church thing and that new person that's trying to take over. That's like huge. They said there's trillions of people inside this church, and if this one person takes over, they're just like, this is the new orthodoxy for what we're believing.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem. So I can see why he's like, yo, I got to go there and fix this.
Right. But you know what? That's again, they're building all this stuff up, right? So
Mhm.
we see that there is uprisings. There are uprisings in the the entire universe that the
Yeah,
empire like controls. This is something that Seldon basically predicted, right? Um,
yeah,
and so you have that going on, and so Day, he came up a little differently. Let's not forget, Demoiselle sort of brought him up too. So what's that all
mhm,
about, right? Is she
mhm.
bringing up like emperors to basically command and conquer? Just like you have to destroy your enemies at any cost. I don't know if that's true or
Yeah,
not. Um, but you also have like Don, who is, I don't know, he if you think about like things that happen like over like English sort of imperialism, you had individuals who were like, oh, I don't want to be a king, I'm a creative, oh, I just want to go travel like the world
Prince
and
Harry.
right, exactly, and find myself. I don't know. Dawn may be a little interesting. I mean,
Mhm.
so he's an interesting character. Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
what are the characters that are really interesting to you, and that you are looking towards the next episodes for these characters to be built up? One or two characters.
I have three people that I'm interested on the show, and
Hmm.
these are the most important characters to me. Brother Day, I
Hmm.
think that's obvious. The Demerzella or Demerzell, the
Demoiselle.
robot, yeah, and Harry. These are the three most interesting characters to me
Hmm.
about the show because I think I want to know, how is she crafting the empire? Because she's probably the most important person there inside the, what I'm saying, like inside the government or whatever
Hmm.
who's running this thing. She has the most power because she's influencing these guys from when they're babies
Right.
until they're on the throne.
Hmm.
So whatever she's saying, she's talking in their ear, telling them stuff. she's talking back to them. They're not even saying nothing to her.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, as far
You
as the
know that
most
was a dumb
important,
idea, Mr. Dusk.
I'd say as far as the most important person in that universe is Harry and Demerzel. These two
Mm.
people, they're most
and, and
important. Or
and
the
Harry is
robot, and
dead, so
Harry's
they're just
dead.
like, right, it's just like,
Harry's dead,
okay.
and there's a robot. The
Right.
two most important people in this universe, at least for the time being. I
Yeah, that's
can't say what
crazy,
happens
isn't it?
further on down the road for the books, but as it stands right now, these are the most important people in for the basis of what happens in this universe. These two people, one of them's not
Okay.
even here anymore.
Okay, so
What
from
about you? Do you have like a character or characters that you're like, this
yes.
is why I'm watching this show?
Okay, Demoiselle. I mean, again,
Mm-hmm.
we're newbies. So
It's
Demoiselle,
obvious.
there is
Yeah.
something totally interesting about her story. And they are
Mm-hmm.
going to get into it. And who knows, but there's
They
something
better.
interesting about her. They have to like talk about her species, how her planet was destroyed by the emperor or the empire, and they have to figure all that out. Someone else who's interesting to me is Selvon.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she the only person that can get close to the vault?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that, right?
Well, she can kind of perceive the futures kind of thing, or
Yeah, she
she's
has
doing with
been,
the coin flip and
okay,
stuff,
that's
and
been they've been building that
she's
up,
got things going on there.
Right, exactly. And
For
then
me, Foundation isn't interesting yet. It's gonna be interesting, but it's not there yet. It's just
okay.
it's still
I
growing.
think it's like for me, it's this dude. I've every episode I've watched at least twice. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and the other person who's interesting for me is
No, not the
Gail.
show. I mean, like the people in the Foundation
Oh, okay.
that are doing the thing. Yeah, that
Yeah.
the people on the planet, they're not doing anything important yet.
Mhm.
It's just they're building and whatever. But like the I would say the Empire is gonna as a it's gonna sway
Yeah.
eventually during the show, especially
Mhm.
during the season. And the Empire is gonna be less interesting, and Foundation is gonna be more interesting. But as
Right.
it stands right now, the Empire is for me. But
Yeah.
I go. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Like, go
No, it's
ahead.
cool. And Gail is the other person because
Mhm.
she is, now that um Seldon is gone, right?
Well, she can verify what they're supposed to be
Right.
doing.
She's the math whiz now, so she is very
Mhm.
important here. So again, we're talking about like Trantor. Let's take it to Terminus and talk about the Foundation. And the anacronyms are
Mhm.
now on Terminus. What's going on with that? And you have Farah, who's like the what do they call her? The
I forgot
arrow
what they call her.
the arrow Harris or whatever, but
Yeah, she's
what
got
is
the.
going on with Farah? What is going on with the Foundation? I mean, why and remember we spoke about this last week.
Mhm.
Why is it that they are on this planet with like two guns, right? And then
That defies
Selvon
logic.
basically said it. Like when I asked for more weapons, you said no, no one's going to invade. When I asked
Mhm.
for training, yada yada yada. Lewis said no. So
Mhm.
now we know, right? But what's going on with Terminus? What's going on with Selvon? What's going on with the anacronons? And how is this all popping off? Because now, Selvon, like you said, now she can see what's going on in the future, or at least transport herself to different places.
Yeah, well, here's the issue too, right?
Mhm.
The Empire could either look at them being on the planet as an active war for both of them,
Mhm.
or come over there and save them and cause a bigger conflict with their neighbors, whoever's left over. So, like, unless the Empire has spaceships stationed over there, they're kind of going to be on their own. You have to figure out a way to deal with, these angry people over here that are that hate the Empire, and these guys represent the Empire right now. They technically represent the Empire right now.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a potential conflict based on what the show is doing. I can't say how the book is going to take it, or how it took it, but
Mhm.
based on what the show is doing, this is going to deviate in somewhat from how the book was presented. So I think that it could be interesting. if they form an alliance or they decide to do something with them,
Mm.
or the Empire just says screw it, let them rot. We don't care about these people anymore. Like you know
Dude.
what I'm saying? Like all that stuff, because the show is taking a different path.
Mm.
All these things are on the table now. You don't know for
Yeah.
certain exactly how they're going to do it. I don't think it's followed some basic stuff from the book, but a lot of it's different. So I who knows? Who knows?
You know, Terminus is becoming a very interesting place. You
Mm.
know, you have the vault, you have the anachronins on there. They are trying to get into the little small foundation's village.
How many people do you think are there on the planet?
What, two and a half? It
It
doesn't
it
look like. I
seems like
mean, it's not like a city. You know, it's not like. I
yeah, it
mean,
looks like maybe there's 100 people there if we're
maybe
lucky.
100 people, right? Exactly. You know, so it's just like, it's not a lot of people there. You know,
Yeah,
and the other thing is, you see these kids hanging, just running around. Remember, on episode 2, they were like, hey, you know what? Terminus isn't a place where you want to have children. And now we have children, but that's okay.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, let's say like they said they gave the impression that the planet is super dangerous. They got these beasts that look like monsters out there.
mhm.
Kids are playing around like nothing. Like what the hell's going on with these parents? I gotta
Trying
let
to
my
like
kids
touch
run
the
around
vault and everything. It's
yeah,
crazy.
I'm not gonna let my kids run around a planet where these white claw monsters are out there that can just eat them up. Like what are we doing here as parents? I know you guys are trying to make an encyclopedia and everything, but what are you doing? Like,
Mhm.
so fix that. Get a daycare going or some kind of school. Fix that. Like, they gotta stop that. That's
What
crazy
is
to me.
what is Farah's deal? She didn't come there for a module. What is her deal? Why
I
is
don't
she
know.
there? Why are the anachronons there?
I think
Anachronins. I keep saying on is anachronins.
she basically okay, they implied that she wants the Empire to come there to cause a problem.
But you know what? But she came there with like a handful of like soldiers, like maybe 20 or
Well,
30 soldiers.
towards the end of the show, there's a lot of people out there. They're surrounding the whole city, basically.
But you know
Or
what? It wasn't
the
like
containers, the shipping
I mean, it
containers.
wasn't a brigade or anything like that. It was just like,
Yeah, but it
okay,
had to be
50
at least
people.
I would say at least 100 soldiers,
Mhm.
maybe. Because it gave the impression that they're in different areas and like different checkpoints around the
They did
city
have
area.
3 gunships that were like traveling towards Terminus
Yeah.
as well.
So
So,
I give the impression that they have a fair amount of people if they had to fight. So
yeah.
like it would be very lopsided if there was to break out into a fight. So that's why I think the Empire would have to show up to help them, but I don't think it's gonna go the way they want it to go. I'll put it like
Yeah.
that.
No, it's not because Trantor, they're gonna be there before they're able to fire that rocket or whatever it is they set up,
Well,
and
yeah, we don't know. We don't have a sense of time though, so we don't know when these guys decided to launch their fast ships
mhm.
versus you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how long time is for space travel. Like, is it a couple hours when they go into hypersleep when they do the jump? Is it like a
I
day? Like,
mean,
how long is it?
I mean, if it's like, I mean, I would imagine like immediately if they're jumping like that.
So if that's the case, then the ships could show up before they even start firing anything, or
Exactly. I think that's gonna
or they could
happen.
show up a week later. Like we don't know. Like it's hard to
I
tell
think
as far as
I think that before that gun is fired, the Empire troops will show up. Terminus Foundation only has, if you really look at it, 4 defenders.
yeah,
You know,
basically.
that's it.
And they look like they've never shot a gun before in their life. So like they're not
Exactly.
looking good.
So it's crazy, man. I'm telling you. What do you
I
think? You think Selvon has? I think she has a very compelling story that they're going to build up and tell. What do you think?
yeah, I think her story's gonna get better, but right now it's not interesting to me yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's just there, she's bossing people around. Like that's not interesting to me as a character.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you get more into the backstory about how she is, and everything like
Right.
that, or like what led her up to go, like how
Mm-hmm.
she has these powers, because she technically has powers over there,
Yeah.
and kind of tell what's going to happen with the coin flip. She
Mhm.
she could read the girl where she could tell or what's her name, Fora or whatever her name is. She could
Farah.
tell if she was lying.
Yeah.
She could kind of sense what happened to her in her past with her
Right.
family. Like these
Mhm.
kind of things. Like she has some sort of powers.
She's
So
got something,
let me
dude.
know why she has these things, and it'll make the character more interesting to me. As it stands right now, she's okay, but like, I mean, like it's not the why. I need the why. The
Yeah.
why needs to make sense. I need a good why,
You
and
know,
it's just like she's awesome, and okay.
okay, Demoiselle, Savon, Gail,
Mm.
they are going to explain and build up the why. I mean, they
I
just
hope so.
have to. I think like the way things are moving is just if that's for me, that's why it's kind of exciting because they're building it up. Again, I'm a newbie, so
Yeah.
I know that they're building it up. I know that, there's going to be something that I think, you're going to have a battle next
Mm.
episode. But, we'll see.
They have to do a better telling of time.
What do you
Because
mean?
like they tell you, oh, it's 400 years in the future. This is
Mhm.
300 years. This is 35 years. This is 10
Mhm.
years. Okay, that's great, but we can't tell where it is in relation to the other planets that they're dealing with.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. Like as far as what's going on with Foundation, we don't know when they launched their ship to go deal with the buoy or whatever, and
Right.
we have no idea.
Mhm.
Is it they're gonna come there and everything's all blown up already, or are they gonna get there before? Like, we can't tell. It's hard to tell in the show.
Okay, so
Mhm.
let's wrap this up. Foundation episode 4, Barbarians at the Gate. Give me your
Mhm.
rating.
I'd give it a 7. It's a good 7 here. I
Mhm.
think that the next episode is probably gonna be 8 or 9. But yeah,
Well,
right now, like
really?
it's gonna be
Okay.
good. It should be because there's gonna be action and there's gonna be more. They're gonna advance
Yeah.
the story more
Yeah, they are.
about what this is and what's
Mhm.
happening right now. So I definitely that's the show I'm waiting for. I'm excited about that. So like, but overall, like I like the show. I like the universe and the world building. I would love to see more planets. See more of the universe, what the universe
Right.
actually looks like. Because
Mhm.
the budget's been spent on 2 planets right now and some special effects.
Yeah.
But like I want to see more about the other planets,
That's
what their
kind of
worlds look
true right
like.
there, though.
Yeah,
you know,
I want to
two.
see more of the
You have
planets.
here's money for 2 planets and like 2 species. I am going to give Foundation episode 4, Barbarians at the
Mhm.
Gate, an 8. Again,
Okay.
this is is this my third 8? Yes, I think this is my third 8.
You just
Um,
love this show.
Again, it's a 7, and then the graph, the graphics and everything else. That's an extra point, so
It's
it's
solid.
an 8, right?
It's solid.
Um, I like how they're building this up. Again, I'm a
Mhm.
newbie, right? But I am we are sci-fi nerds, geeks. We love stuff like this. We know that things are going to happen just based on what we're looking at and based on the sort of things we've seen in just in the
Mhm.
past, right? And how things are being built. I also think that Foundation was probably better served on an Apple TV. I don't
Yeah, this is
know
better as a
if
series. It could
right.
be a
I
movie.
right. I don't know if it could have survived or would have done well on a Netflix or like Amazon. I think Apple TV said, "Hey, you want this? We're gonna give it to you, but
Mhm.
tell me about it." Like
Mhm.
let's sit down. Let's go have like some coffee and tell me what you're trying to do here. Um, Yeah, I
So
gave
I
it an
think that
8. I love this. I love all the characters. I love how they're just
Mhm.
like feeding us a little bit of like Demizelle's story, a little bit of like Salvan's story, um,
Mhm.
a little bit about now like the emperors, the brothers having some like friction. They're feeding that to us in these sort of short bursts, and I'm just looking forward to every episode now. I'm hoping that like okay, so here's a hope. I'm hoping that
Mm-hmm.
like maybe over a holiday weekend, the Apple says, "Oh, here's 2 episodes." You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I would think because was it 10? Is it 10 episodes for the season?
I don't know. I mean, like with Apple, it could be. I'm not
I think
sure.
it's 10. 10 episodes this
Mm,
season. So that's supposed to be
okay.
done November 19th. That's when it's done.
Well, okay, DJ Keo, you gave it a solid 8.
No, I gave it a 7.
Okay,
You
you
gave it
gave
an
it a
8.
solid 7. I'm trying to like edge you to like 8. You sure you don't want to like change that?
We'll see about next week, though. I think it's going to
Okay.
go up next week for
Okay, so
sure.
I gave it a solid 8 myself, and yeah, so again, we're both all in. Looking forward to episode 5, and we will see.
Mhm.
Well, there you have it, another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.
All right.